The rain hadn't stopped in 3 days. It poured endlessly over the rusted rooftops of Outpost K-17, turning the narrow alleys into rivers of mud and neon reflections. Humans weren't supposed to live here, not anymore. The outer colonies had long been abandoned to smugglers, bounty hunters, and things far worse. But Elias Varn didn't have much choice. He leaned against the doorway of his repair shop, wiping grease from his hands as thunder rolled overhead. His shop wasn't much, just a shack filled with broken drones, cracked circuits, and salvaged tech. But it kept him alive.
Barely.
A distant scream cut through the rain. Elias frowned. That wasn't unusual here, but something about it felt wrong. Then he saw her. She stumbled into the alley, collapsing hard onto the wet ground just a few meters away. Her skin shimmered faintly under the dim lights, an unnatural, iridescent glow. Her clothes were torn, and her breathing was ragged. Alien. Elias muttered under his breath.
Great.
Just what I needed. He could have walked away. Should have walked away. Aliens brought trouble. Always. But then she looked up. Her eyes, glowing, silver, and wide with terror, locked onto his. And she whispered, barely audible over the rain, "Please marry me, or my brothers will kill you." Elias blinked. What? He dragged her inside before anyone else could see. The door slammed shut behind them as he locked every bolt. His heart was pounding, not from fear, but from sheer confusion. "Start talking," he said, grabbing a medkit. "Because that's the strangest threat I've ever heard." She sat trembling on the floor, clutching her side. Up close, he could see she wasn't just injured. She was dying. Dark, glowing blood seeped from a deep wound across her ribs. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice shaking. "I am of the Varelian High Line." Elias froze. He'd heard that name before. Everyone had. The Varelians weren't just another alien species. They were warlords of the outer systems. Ruthless, powerful, untouchable. "And your brothers?" Elias asked slowly, her eyes filled with tears. "They are worse." Lyra explained everything in broken, gasping breaths. She wasn't just any Varelian. She was royalty. The youngest daughter of a brutal ruling family, she had spent her life trapped in a world of violence and control. Her brothers, 3 of them, were generals, conquerors, feared across entire sectors. And they had decided it was time for her to marry. Not for love, for power. "They chose a warlord," Lyra whispered. "A creature who delights in suffering." I refused. Elias raised an eyebrow. Bold move. "They do not accept refusal," she said. "So I ran." He patched her wound as she spoke, carefully sealing the bleeding with a portable cauterizer. "And somehow," he said, "that leads to me needing to marry you?" Her gaze met his again, desperate. In Varelian law, once a female is bonded, married, she cannot be claimed again. It is absolute. Even my brothers cannot break it without igniting a war. Elias stared at her. "You're telling me the most dangerous family in the galaxy will leave me alone if I marry you?" "Yes. And if I don't?" She swallowed. "They will kill you for harboring me." Elias let out a slow breath. Fantastic. He should have thrown her out. Should have pretended he never saw her. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the fear in her voice. Maybe it was the way she flinched at every sound outside. Or maybe it was just that he couldn't leave someone to die. "All right," he said finally. "Let's say I agree. What does this marriage involve?" Lyra hesitated. "A binding ceremony. It is quick. But once done, it cannot be undone." Elias rubbed his face. "You're asking me to tie myself legally to an alien princess with homicidal brothers?" "Yes." "And you think I'll survive this?" She looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, there was something other than fear in her eyes. Humans are different, she said softly. I have studied your kind. You endure. You adapt. You survive where others cannot. Elias snorted. Yeah? Tell that to my empty fridge. But deep down something stirred. A challenge. A fight. Maybe even a chance.
Fine, he said.
We do it. Lyra's breath hitched. You accept. On one condition. Anything. You don't lie to me. Not once. If I'm risking my life, I deserve the truth. She nodded immediately. I swear it. Elias extended his hand. Then let's get married. The ceremony was unlike anything Elias expected. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't gentle. It was intense. Lyra drew symbols on the floor with her glowing blood, forming a circular pattern that pulsed with faint energy. She stood at its center, her expression solemn. You must stand with me, she said. Elias stepped inside the circle. The moment he did, the air changed. It felt heavier. Charged. What now? He asked. She took his hand. Her skin was warm, almost burning. We speak the bond. Her voice shifted, becoming something deeper, more powerful. Ancient. The symbols around them flared to life. Elias felt a surge of energy rush through him, like lightning in his veins. He clenched his teeth, refusing to cry out. Then, silence. The light faded. Lyra collapsed. Elias caught her. Hey, stay with me. Her eyes fluttered open. It is done, she whispered. You are my husband. Elias let out a shaky laugh. Well, that's new. They didn't have long. Less than an hour later, the sky split open. 3 massive ships descended through the storm, their hulls glowing with alien energy. The ground trembled as they hovered above the outpost. Lyra's face went pale. They've found me. Elias looked out the window. Yeah, subtle entrance. The comms crackled to life. A voice, deep, cold, and furious, echoed through every speaker in the settlement. Lyra, come out.
Now.
Elias turned back to her. Which brother is that? All of them. Of course it is. The door exploded inward. 3 figures stepped through the smoke. They were taller than Elias, clad in dark armor that seemed to absorb light itself. Their eyes glowed like molten metal. Predators. Each one radiated power.
Death.
The one in the center stepped forward. Little sister, he said, you have caused inconvenience. Lyra stood, trembling, but she didn't step back.
I am bonded, she said.
You cannot take me. The brother's gaze shifted to Elias. And this human is the one? Elias raised a hand. Hi, husband. Nice to meet you. The room went silent. Then the brother laughed. A deep, terrifying sound. You think a ritual binds us? He said. You think we care for such laws? Lyra's face fell. You must. It is tradition. We are beyond tradition. The other 2 stepped forward. Weapons ignited. Elias sighed. Well, he muttered, guess we're doing this the hard way. The first attack came fast. Too fast for a normal human. But Elias wasn't normal. Not anymore. The bond had changed him. He moved before the blade reached him, grabbing the attacker's wrist and twisting hard. There was a crack, loud, shocking. The alien roared in pain. Elias didn't hesitate. He drove his fist into the alien's chest and felt something give. The creature staggered back. Stunned. All 3 brothers froze. What are you? One whispered. Elias blinked. I was just about to ask you that. The fight turned chaotic. Blades clashed. Energy, weapons fired. But Elias adapted. Every movement felt sharper,
Faster.
stronger. He anticipated attacks before they happened, reacted with impossible speed. The bond wasn't just symbolic. It had enhanced him, made him something else. One by one, the brothers fell back. Not defeated, but no longer confident. The leader narrowed his eyes. This is unexpected. Elias wiped blood from his lip.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Then everything changed. Lyra screamed. Elias turned, too late. One of the brothers had bypassed him, grabbing her by the throat. Enough games, the alien snarled. Bond or not, you belong to us. Elias felt something snap inside him. A surge of raw, uncontrollable fury. The world seemed to slow. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. And then he moved, faster than thought. He slammed into the brother, tearing Lyra free and driving the alien into the wall with bone-shattering force. The building shook. The brother collapsed. Unmoving. Silence filled the room. The remaining two stared at Elias. Not with anger, not with rage, but with something far rarer.
Fear.
The leader stepped back. This changes things, he said slowly. Elias stood over Lyra, breathing hard. Yeah, he said. It does. The alien studied him for a long moment. Then he lowered his weapon. The bond is valid, he said. We will not challenge it. Lyra gasped. You accept it? The brothers' gaze remained fixed on Elias. We accept him. The ships left before dawn. No more threats. No more violence. Just silence. Elias sat on the roof, watching the storm fade. Lyra joined him, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. It is over, she said softly. For now, Elias replied. She smiled faintly. You faced them. You survived. He shrugged. Guess humans really are hard to kill. She looked at him, really looked at him, and this time there was no fear in her eyes. Only something warm. You did more than survive, she said. You changed everything. Elias leaned back, staring at the sky. Yeah. Yes, she said. You gave me a choice. Ending weeks passed. The galaxy didn't forget. News spread fast. The human who stood against Varelian warlords and lived. But the truth was quieter. Elias still fixed broken machines. Still lived in his little shop. Only now he wasn't alone. Lyra stayed. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And somewhere in the vast, dangerous galaxy, the predators had learned something new. Humans weren't prey. They never had been. They were something far more dangerous. Something that would stand, fight, and protect, no matter the cost.